So, hi everyone. I'm Sudhanshu, and I'm currently working as a data and BI analyst at New Taste. And for the past 2-3 years, I have been working with data science and analytics, and side by side, I have also teaching data science uh, to professionals, students, helping with their resume and trying to guide as many people as I can into this field. So yeah, now just give me a minute so I can share my screen and then we can start. Okay. Yeah. So about the session, we will keep it a bit more conversational. Okay. So whoever have joined, it won't be just like a teaching session and all. Okay. It will be more like a conversational session, and I will be going through PPTs, and then we will also get some data, try to do some hands-on coding as well on uh, Google Colab. Okay. And yeah, if anyone has any questions in between, so you can let us know, or you can just type it in the chat, and once I will be looking on that, I will be answering. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let me know when my screen is visible to all of you. Okay. Yeah. So I guess my screen would be visible,
Yes,
right?
Sudhanshu, the screen is visible.
So yeah, let me start my PPT. Okay. So the AI augmented analyst, okay, what this exactly means is if you are working with data and using AI, okay, so you can also be an analyst, whether you are an analyst or you are working in any other profession, or you are a student, okay. So you can be an analyst by using AI, okay. Now this may sound ridiculous, but yeah, the more we go into this, the better you will understand. Okay. So problem first mindset to actionable business insights using generative AI. Now, generative AI is what? Uh, Part of artificial intelligence, which we use to generate text, videos, audios. Okay. So most of the tools we are familiar with are ChatGPT, Gemini, okay, Perplexity, and then there's Grok as well from X. Okay, yeah. About myself, as Kudrat has already told, so that's basically my LinkedIn profile. I'm working as a data and BI analyst at New Test. Before that, I worked in Intenshala, and I have experience in data science and analytics and in tools. So Python, SQL, Power BI, and I also work with machine learning problems and some data engineering side like Azure Pipeline and Microsoft Fabric. Okay. Okay. Now let's start. So see, let me just go back. How many of you are professionals and how many of you are students? Can anyone tell?
Sudhanshu, I think it's going to be a mix of like 50-50%. 50 would be professionals working and 50 would be students.
Okay. So see, so if you are a professional or a student, okay. So now for the students who are there, so what I will be talking about is how we can be a data analyst, okay, or even if you are not a data analyst, you are working in any other professional way, marketing or sales or any kind of support role. Okay, so how can you use data, and with the help of AI, how can you actually develop your thinking like a analyst and then get on to the results. Okay, now data exists everywhere, right? uh, it doesn't matter in any kind of field you are working, right? If you're working with marketing data, there would be data about your users, right? And there would be data about campaigns. If you are targeting different kind of people, there would be data regarding that. Okay, if you are working in sales, so yeah, definitely if you are trying to sell a product, there would be data about whom you sold, how much you are selling, okay, how much you need to sell, and what are your customers, and what kind of customers are your good customers who are giving you most of your revenue. From the customers you are getting most of your money, and who are the customers which you need to focus on, who are the customers you don't want to lose. Okay, so in any kind of department you are working, even in if you are working in HR, so you would have different kind of profiles of professionals. Okay, and you want to keep an eye that who are the professionals which can be a uh, good candidates for our company, right? And what kind of professionals we should seek out for different kind of skills, and all of that. Okay, so it doesn't matter with what kind of role you are working on. Okay, and even if you are a student and you have you want to join an organization. Okay, so in any kind of role you will be working on, you will be dealing with data. Okay, and even if you're working with like tech side. Okay, so in the data domain there are different roles like data engineers, data scientists, data analysts, business analysts. Okay, so in all of those roles, okay, that's basically a data profession. Okay, and in other roles, like if you are working as a developer, okay, then also you need to deal with and know how to work with data, because then you will working with SQL, you will be implementing queries and all. Okay, so yeah, now suppose that you are working as a data professional. Okay, and you are working as a sales coordinator. Okay, now who's a sales coordinator? So sales coordinator is a guy, okay, who works with the sales persons. Okay, now what salesperson do? They try to sell the products, right? Whether it's a physical product or a technical product, right? It's a non-physical product. Okay, so sales coordinators are basically who are trying to fill all the data, manual data. Like, okay, if suppose that we are trying to sell certain food products. Okay, my company makes food products, and the salesperson job is to find the customers and sell them those products. Okay, either it can be a B2B, means business to business, or it can be a B2C, direct business to customer. Okay, yeah, so in both of the cases we have the customers. Okay, so salesperson sells the products, and the sales coordinator writes down that the next orders and all it compiles. Okay, now as a sales coordinator your job is to define how much products we are selling, what kind of orders we are getting, who are our customers, top customers, who are our customers from whom we are getting the biggest share of profit. Okay, which are the customers which we don't want to do any more business because we are not getting any profit at all, and we are just uh, costing our money on those customers. Okay, so data, you would have Excel sheets, you would have your databases. Okay, but data would be everywhere. But the problem comes with, if you are not working with data, if you are not a data professional, you don't actually know how to use all that data, even for the simpler of tasks which are yours, right? Right, like as a salesperson your job is to find the top 10 customers. Okay, and suppose that there is a big data, right? Like there are 2 lakh of rows, 3 lakh of rows of data, and the data is in SQL. Okay, so somehow you ask to a guy that give me an Excel sheet, but Excel sheet won't work with the 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs of rows. Okay, so you will be fed up that how I should uh, try to find my answers. Okay, and you have to rely on data analyst, or you have to ask your data team, and even if they are not free, okay, you would be just sitting down with your work. Okay, but yeah, what actually goes wrong? Okay, so we have reports but no insights. So we get the data, we get the reports from different teams, but we are not able to understand what to exactly uh, get insights from those kind of reports, those kind of data sets, lists. Okay, if something is wrong with the data or with our business, we are not able to figure out why. Okay, Excel actually is good for small cases, for ad hoc reports. Okay, either Excel or Google Sheets. Google sheet works with a very limited amount of data. Excel work with a little bit more data. Okay, but yeah, once you get data in like in 100 MBs, or you have like 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs of rows, Excel breaks. And then even for the small kind of problems, you either go for analysts. Okay, so yeah, these kind of thing happens if you are working. Now if you are not working, okay, and you are trying to get into the role of a data analyst or a business analyst or a data scientist. Okay, so you should actually know if you have a data. Okay, because yeah, if you are working with data, data if you are working with data, okay, you should actually understand that it's not always the just to uh, use numpy, pandas, matplotlib, seaborn, and create graphs and charts. Okay, or if you have just entering into the field and you have learned about machine learning algorithms, so you are just using linear regression, logistic regression. If you are using with regression problems, so you can use linear regression, right? You can use support vector machines. So yeah, you can understand how to work with models, okay, using tutorials and all. But what should be the problem structures? What's the actual job is? Okay, your job is not to build a machine learning models, or your job is not to just write SQL queries. Okay, your job is to actually help the business, okay, by the insights at the end of your analysis cycle. Okay, whether you are a data analyst or a data scientist. Okay, so these kind of things happen. So how to develop that thinking, how to think like an analyst, think like an analyst. Okay, okay, now the real gap is not about tools. That's what I was talking about. Okay, it's the gap between business questions and technical execution. Okay, so you can be good at technical execution if you are in the data field, or if you want to be, but you should also understand what's the actual business need. Okay, so until you don't understand what's the actual business need, you cannot do anything with your only technical expertise. Okay, for the person who are working in other domains, okay, they know what the business need is, but they don't have the technical expertise, right? They know their questions, they know their work, but they are not able to figure out how to use technical tools like SQL, Python, if you guys are not familiar with Python, right? So there's a gap, right? So you need to fill out that gap somehow. Okay, now, so in 2020, when COVID came, and after that, people started learning about, okay, there are some AI tools, okay, which can help us in different kind of stuff, right? Writing essays, okay, writing code and generate images, okay, generate charts. And after 5 years, things have completely changed, okay. uh, Whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or Cloud, okay. So we have now very good kind of AI tools that can that can write like 1,000 lines of code at one go, okay. They can write the scripts which can automatically clean the data, okay. They can create proper charts which even you cannot create after like 1 or 2 or 5 years of experience working with Excel or any other tool, okay. So yeah, right now we are at a threshold, okay, where we have AI tools, okay, and the AI tools have become very good at things, doing certain things, okay. Everyone is almost using it, okay. I don't think anyone is here who's not using AI tools, okay. But here comes the twist. Does that mean we can trust the outputs generated by those AI tools? So yeah, we cannot actually trust the outputs directly, okay, until you are not able to verify the output by yourself, okay. Even if you are using generative AI to write the code, okay, you can write the code, it can write the code very well, but you won't be able to exactly understand it or use it if you don't have a proper business problem, okay. So why we use generative AI? For chatting, for assisting, for coding, okay. Now what is why we in what cases we use predictive analytics? So where we need actual reasoning, where we need forecasting, okay. Now what is a predictive analytics? So for those who don't know, okay, predictive analytics is a part of analytics, okay, where we use the historical data, okay, to predict the outcomes, okay. So if you have like last 2 years of data, okay, so you can predict that in the coming 6 months how much sale we can have, okay. So for predictive analytics, you actually need reasoning, forecasting, and decision making. Now, so how to combine these two things, reasoning with generative AI, okay. AI can actually help, but it cannot think for you, okay. So now when you listen all of this, okay, how to actually use AI, okay, for our purpose, for working with data, okay, for getting insights, even if we are not very good with coding, even if we are not very good with the entire process of data analysis, okay, even if we are not particularly trained with the data profession, okay. So in today's demo, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a data set, although the data set would be just an example data set, but this is a real data set, okay. And our business question would be, okay, so that would be a sales data, and business question would be which customers are likely to churn and why, so sales can act before losing them, okay. So that would be a customer's data, sales data, and that we will have the customer data, and we have to find out what are the customers uh, who are going to leave us, okay, if we don't do anything, okay. So these kind of problems are called churn analysis, okay, in the analysis term, okay. So yeah, that's our today's demos session, okay. Now what should be the flow for this, okay. So what we are going to do today, first we are going to define the business problem, Okay. And before I do all of this, keep in mind that AI is not your replacement. Okay. If you will use it as your helping partner, okay, then that would be the best thing you can do. Okay. You can improve your outputs by 5x, 10x. Okay. You can work better and you can save your time. Okay. Instead of just doing manual work, you can write code manually, you can analyze it, and then you can save that time to actually get that time in more human work like reasoning. Okay. uh, Thinking about how you can improve the results and all. Okay. So yeah, the flow for today's session would be, first we will take the data. Okay. And we will try to define the business problem better. Okay. We have a small business problem that we need to find the customers who are going to churn. Okay. We will define the problem better. Okay. We will try to understand what exactly churn means and what are the factors which can affect the customers. Okay. Then second part would be data cleaning. So how we can clean the data, because the data would be messy. Okay. uh, some values would be missing. Okay. The date format would not be correct. Okay. And there would be some duplicate values as well. So what are the things we need to keep in mind while cleaning the data for the analysis? Okay. The third step would be Python coding. So if you are familiar with Python, that would be best. Even if you are not, so uh, I can just tell you the prompts what you can use to actually work without coding. Okay. And we will run those codes and transform the data. Then we will do feature engineering. So feature engineering is a part where we create new features or columns which can help us to get our results better. Okay. So with the, so you can understand that like helping features or helping columns. Okay. If you have 10 columns in a data and you need more columns with the help of existing columns, that process is called a feature engineering. Okay. Then insight generations. So we will also use AI to write the code to generate insights and then generate charts to analyze the data better. Okay. And what can be our key churn drivers? Means what are the features or what are the problems, okay, which make the customer to lose. Okay. And the last part would be business recommendations. So that's the actual work we as a data professionals have to do. Okay. So based on our finding, we tell the management or the stakeholders that after my analysis, these are the things I have found, and these are the decisions we have to take if we want to improve our business. Okay. Or grow our business. Okay. So the last part would be business and recommendations. Okay. Yeah. So that would be the flow. So okay. Do you guys have any questions till now? How do you structure a prompt for an LLM to perform exploratory data analysis on a messy data set without losing the context of the business problem? Yes, Tejashwi, that's an interesting question. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are exactly going to do that. Okay. We are going to take the data set. Okay. Now for your answer, in short, it's basically whenever you are trying to write a prompt, okay, always mention the columns. Okay. That what are the column names, so the LLM doesn't lose the context of the business problem. Okay. So always keep all the columns which you have in the data or what kind of columns you are going to work. Okay. And always short in inject. Okay, don't try to get everything in once in ChatGPT or Gemini. Okay, so it can keep the context better, and it doesn't hallucinate. Okay, yeah. uh, okay, let's try to take the problem. Let's see the data set and then take the data set to go with our analysis. Okay, about the hands-on session, okay, I won't be writing anything, okay, at all. I would be just fixing if something comes. Okay, and also about the notebook, okay, I won't be actually defining the notebook better, markdowns and all, so to save the time. Okay, because our main aim here is to understand the structural thinking, okay, rather than coding, okay, or rather than going through the entire uh, cycle of a data science project. Okay, yeah. So let me share my screen again, and we will look on the data set, and then we will move on. Okay. Okay, you guys can see my screen. Now I needed to share the entire screen. Just a second. Okay, my entire screen would be visible. Just a second. Okay, now, so just, okay. Let me start with the data set. Let me open the data set in a Excel file, so it would be better. Okay, or okay. So this is ChatGPT 5.0, 5.2. You guys can also use Gemini, or if so, these two are the tools which I use mostly. Okay, ChatGPT for quick analysis and Gemini Pro for thinking. Okay, and long answers. Okay, so okay, now suppose that you have a business problem. I have already defined what a business problem is. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to actually start with the first thinking, that is analytical framing. Okay, now, so in this blue box, this is the prompt, entire prompt we are going to write. Okay, and in the chat gpt. Okay, and what you can do whenever you have a data set. Okay, so either you can just take the screenshot of the first 5 rows, copy the first 5 rows of the data, and if the data set is not that big, if you have just 50 lines, 100 lines of code, and you can just clip the entire data set in the tools, that can be best. Okay, so and if you have a very big data set, so always what you can do, always define the entire schema. Entire schema means whatever columns you have and what are their data types in the column. Okay, so you need to give the proper context to the model. Okay, now this is the entire prompt which we are going to write in the chat gpt, so I'm going to copy this. Okay, so what we need, first we need to understand what exactly our business problem is. Right now I have explained you that what churn analysis means. Okay, and even if you don't understand churn analysis and someone says you, can you do a churn analysis on these customers quickly? Okay, so in those kind of scenarios, when you need to understand the problem first, okay, so start with this kind of prompt. So first we define our role. that, okay, you are working as a senior data analyst, okay, with a sales leadership team, okay. And what is our business problem? We are losing customers and sales and want to act before customers churn, okay. We don't care about fancy model set, because we are not going to uh, actually use machine learning analysis, okay. We are just going to understand the business problem here, okay. And given a customer churn data set, help me clearly define the analytical objective, okay. Identify the key business metrics we should focus on, means what are the columns or what are the features we should focus on more. List the assumptions we are making, okay. So whenever you try to solve a business problem, data problem, okay, there would always be some assumptions we are making. Like if we have a customer data set, okay, we are only taking customer data set for 2 years, okay. And we are making assumption that for these 2 years, okay, all the customers would have bought at least once, okay. So these kind, what are the assumptions we should make, and then suggest 5 to 7 questions the data must answer to help sales reduce the churn, okay. And at the end, I always put that respond in simple business language and not technical jargon, because I have to explain to the non-technical people my analysis, okay. So that's also a very important point, okay. If you're working in the data, or even if you're not working in the data, then this becomes more important, because you need to understand what the things we are talking about, okay. So let's try to see the data, what data we have, okay. So I'm gonna use collab, okay. Let's open a new notebook. So Google Colab is a is a notebook tool, okay, in which we can write markdowns and code both, okay. This is the tool generally used by data scientists and data professionals, okay. So yeah, just write. Okay. So first let's try to import the data set. So I'm importing pandas. Okay, pandas is a Python library, okay, used for manipulation of data. Okay, and I'm using pd.read. Df is basically an object. Okay, I'm trying to define my data set as df, that is data frame. pd.read csv. This command is used to import the CSV files, so it can be readable for the pandas. Okay. So even if you guys are not familiar with coding, what you can do, I will just open this data set. Let me. Okay. So you can just do all kind of analysis in Excel as well. Okay. So I have a CSV file. This is the CSV file you can see. This is the data we have. Okay. So we have this data. Okay. You can see we have customer IDs, customer name, reason, sign up date, uh, from which date they have registered with us, okay. Last interaction date means what was the last date when they have bought any product from us, okay. And this is the monthly revenue, how much uh, monthly revenue we are getting from those customers. Okay, this is the tenure month. Tenure month means from the registration till now, how many months have been they with us together, means sorry, from the day they have registered till now, uh, how many months have been. Okay, and then support ticket. So this column is basically support ticket last 6 months. In the last 6 months, how many support tickets they have been raised. Okay, now what is a support ticket? So support ticket is basically, uh, suppose that you are a customer and you have bought something from Amazon. Okay, and there is some default, uh, there is some problem with the product. Okay, so you basically the help and raise a ticket. Basically you are trying to register your problem, the support. Okay, discount request. So have they have been given any discount or not, or they have requested any discount. Okay, then sale owner, and then churn, means have they left us or not. Okay, this is the churn, and sales owner, basically this is the salesperson. Now you can see that there are a lot of problems in this data. Yeah, there are different kind of formats. Okay, here you can see some dates are missing. Here you can see again some column is missing, and there's this NA written, because this data is manually uh, fed up. Okay, this is not a system generated data. That's why there are a lot of problems even in the system generated data. Okay, sometimes the problem comes because at the end user someone is filling the data, right? If you are a customer, you are filling the data by yourself. Okay, so there would be always be customers where the data either would be missing or would be incorrectly filled. Okay, so this is the data. Let's try to import it in Python. So what I will do in Collab, I will just import this data. So I'm trying to import the data here. Once this gets uploaded, I will just copy the path. Okay, and paste it here. Okay, if I want to see, so df.head. Okay, so this is the data. We have imported the data in Jupyter in Colab. Okay, yeah. Now let's try to start using AI tool. Okay. Okay. So this is our first prompt. Okay. The first step is to understand the problems better. Okay. So let's try to go. Okay. So I will just copy paste this. Okay. If you guys want the prompts, what you can do, that's not very relevant, but yeah, you can just prompt. If you want to get the prompts, you can get after this session. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just for the context. Okay, someone asked me how we can use the context better. So for the context, I'm giving it an entire data set. Okay, I'm giving the entire data set because the data set doesn't have much rows. Okay, and it's not a very big data. Okay, we have around 10 columns, and okay, we have around 15 customers. Okay, if the data set is very big, which in real cases it happens. Okay, so what you can always do in the lower, what you can define the structure of the schema is columns. Define the columns. Okay, like column name is, suppose that customer ID, and you can define the data type. Data type text. Okay, and primary key. If what is a primary key? So primary key is a value in a data set. Primary key is a column in a data set. Okay, where all the values are unique and not null. Okay, so in the customer ID it would always be a primary key. So you can define the proper schema like that. Okay. And then the next column, like that customer name. So just write customer name and text, and that's it. Okay. So and so on. So that's how you can define the structure of the schema. Sorry for the spelling mistakes that will happen, so know that. Okay. So at the end of your prompt, always define the schema of your data. Okay. The more context you can give, the better answers it will give. Okay. So let's try to understand our problem. Okay. So what our goal is to spot the customers who are likely to leave soon and understand the real reason behind it. Okay. So sales can step in early and save the relationships. Okay. That is our business problem. Okay. Now, what are the metrics we can focus on? The first one is churn rate. How many customers are leaving in a period? If your churn rate is higher, means suppose that in past 6 months, okay, you have 200 customers at the start of your 6 months. Okay. And after 6 months, you have now 150 customers, right? So 150 divided by 200. Okay. That would be your churn rate. The more churn rate you will have, means uh, there would be more danger in your business. Okay. You need to somehow stop your customers. Okay. So they don't leave you. Okay. So the churn rate, at risk customers count, customers showing early warning signs. So some customers which are not actually leaving us, but yeah, they are showing some uh, chances that they can leave soon. Okay. Revenue at risk. So how much money we could lose if we lose these customers. Okay. So means suppose that we have one customer and we are getting almost like 20% of our revenue, monthly revenue from that customer. If that customer leaves, then our business would be like very bad, right? We are losing almost a customer who gives us 20% of revenue, means we are losing our biggest customer. Okay. Customer tenure, how long customers typically stay before leaving. Uses, engagement, trends. Okay. Is customer actively going down? Means suppose that you have a very good customer and he used to buy a lot, but from the past 6 months he have bought only once. Okay. Means we need to improve our relationships with that customer. Okay. Support complaints, are problems increasing before churn or not? If there are a lot of support tickets coming from a customer, there are chances that they are going to leave you if we are not fixing it, right? Then repeat purchase, renewal behavior. Are customers delaying or skipping purchases? Okay. So again, the same problem that customers used to buy us twice a month. Okay. Now from the past 3 months, they have bought only once from us, right? So that's again a problem. Okay. So assumptions we need to make: past customer behavior gives clues about future churn. Customers don't leave suddenly. There are warning signs. Lower engagement usually means lower satisfaction. Sales team can influence churn if alerted early. Okay. Not all churn reasons are the same. Okay. Sometimes there can be price, service, product fit, neglect. Okay. So yeah, these are the some of the assumptions we have to keep in mind. And then what are the questions that data should must answer? Okay, so these are the actual questions. Okay, when you go to a stakeholder, they can ask. Okay, so you need to prepare in hand before doing the analysis. Okay. Okay, that's it. That's our first step. We now understand our business problem. Okay, we now know what we need to find and what assumptions we need to make, or what kind of data problems we would be solving, right? Let's go to the next step. Is there a question? Okay, let's go to the next step, then we'll try to answer the questions. Okay, so the next step is data cleaning plan. Okay, now when you see a data, okay, a messy data, okay, you don't always jump into writing EDA, okay, or analyzing the data, making charts. Okay, you need to clean the data better. Okay, and to be honest, 70 to 80% of our time always goes into getting the data right, okay, and then cleaning the data so we can actually do the analysis or we can do the data modeling. Okay, so data cleaning is very important step. Okay, most of the time people are just spending on it, and if you don't have a clear idea, your analysis will always be wrong if you don't have a clean idea and clear idea about how to clean the data well. Okay, so let's try to paste this as well. uh, okay, I have. So what we are trying to write in the prompt that the data is messy and contains missing values, duplicate customers, inconsistent data formats, text values in numeric columns. Okay, so we need to actually understand how to deal with things. Okay, if you are a seasoned professional, you know, otherwise you is right on to understand how to clean the data better. Okay, so we need to keep these things in the mind. Now this is the CRM export. Generally this kind of data you get when you use a third party customer relationship management kind of software tools. Okay, so someone is typing those informations. Okay, then you are getting that data. Okay, so that's why in real data there would be a problem if you are working with Kaggle data set or any other data set for the practice. Okay, the data would be always clean. Okay, but in real world that never happens. Okay, you need clean data. Okay, so we need to keep in mind missing those. Okay, duplicate customers, inconsistent date format, text and numeric fields. Okay, inconsistent categories, label. Okay, record. Okay, and why these things are important, so you can understand that. Okay, I'm not gonna read that, there's a lot, so we'll just move on because we have low time. Okay, uh let's move on to the third step. Okay, okay, now from here we are trying to write our code. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to start our data is already installed, the data is already imported as a df. Okay, we have imported our data here, so we will give the proper context to the model that. Okay, now write the panda code to clean the data set. Okay, and these are our requirements that standardize all column names, remove duplicate customers. Okay, logically, not just blindly that you need to remove all the customers, handle missing data, convert dates into proper date format, fix consistent categorical values. Okay, and all of that. Now whatever steps I have got in my previous conversation, okay, I'm trying to apply all of them here. Okay, now, and add the clear comments. I will again write the column names are. I'm just doing the code here again so it doesn't miss. Copy paste them here. Okay. Now when you try to work, okay, so you need a bit more better that you don't don't copy everything at once. Okay, try to go each step one by one, but due to time limit, I'm just gonna enter all of those code in a single cell. Okay, so yeah, it has given us all the code. Okay, df.clean. So I'm just gonna copy the code. Okay, so for that I will write here data clean. Let's try to run. Okay, the code has been run, and what it has done actually, it has taken the columns from df. Okay, and then it has applied all the steps. Okay, so if we want to check df clean, okay, so here you can see now the data has been cleaned properly. Okay, so here you can see Acme, Corp, Zenith Ltd, and sign up date. There's the sign up date in proper format, and here we don't have any value, so that's why NAT. Okay, uh, then here last interaction date, monthly revenue, tenure months. So the data is now properly cleaned. Okay, data quality flag, good, review. Okay, now the next step is when you clean your data. Okay, so the next step is try to create more features from the data set. Okay, which can help us to better our understanding, okay, of the data set. And generally this feature engineering or feature creation step comes after EDA, when you do the exploratory data analysis. Okay, and sometimes it's part of EDA. Okay, so it's always up to you how you are where you are trying to do that. Okay, so I will try to create more columns. Okay, uh, df underscore clean, and it has given us now different features to actually write. So what you can do, you can actually just copy all the code and just create the features. Okay, but what is recommended that when you create new features, if you're working in a collab, okay, so do the data visualization. Okay, and after that you create the features. Okay, and if you are doing in Excel or any other tool, just create the features. Okay, what you need to do. So I can write here. This is the first feature. I will just copy everything here. This is the second feature. So it has given us the first feature, that is last days since last interaction. The second one is high support ticket flag. The third one is revenue bucket low. So we have again two, and then the third one, revenue bucket, means we are just trying to bucketing the customer based on the total revenue we are getting from each of them. Fourth one is tenure category. So how much time it has been since they are with us. And the fifth one is early churn risk indicator. So if we don't have any indication, so what the logic is, if we don't have any indication interactions from with the customer since last 60 days, there are high chances that they can churn. Okay, otherwise there are low chances that they can turn. So these are the 5 features. Okay, we're trying to create 5 new features. So if now we are seeing data underscore clean. Okay, so we can see here these are the new categories we have created. Okay, last days since last interaction, high support ticket flag, revenue bucket, tenure category, early churn risk. Okay, so we have created 5 more features with these customers. Okay, so this is our proper data set. We have 14 customers. Okay, now the last step is basically data analysis. Okay, sorry, the fifth step before the insights. Okay, we have data visualization. Okay, if you now we have uh, the first step was to clean the data properly. Okay, uh, in the coding part, the second step is to create features which can help us identify the customers better, and the third is, okay, data visualization. Okay, after data visualization, if you're doing machine learning and you want to create machine learning models, experiment that, the fifth step can be modeling. Okay, and or you, after that, you just want to analyze the data, your analysis is come, then you can just write the you can just take the data set and generate insights. Okay, based on what how you want to present your data. Okay, right now that's a simple problem, analysis problem. So we are just going to create the visuals, and based on that we are going to create our insights. Okay, so what we are writing here, that you are analyzing churn behavior for each customer, and you are going to give that analysis to the sales leader. So identify the top factors associated with the churn, create 3 4 sample visualizations, and recommend one correlation heat map to reveal hidden patterns if there are any. Okay, so based on your understanding, you can give it the proper prompts. Okay, and you can ask for each insights, what is happening, why it matters, and what sales should do differently. Okay, let's try to generate the code. Okay, so that would be our last step. Okay, once you can do this, your almost 5 hours 6 hours of work is done. Okay, so you don't need to write code from your side. Okay, or you don't need to like think a lot that what you should do. You will focus your more time on analysis and gathering the insights after analyzing the entire process. Okay, so okay, okay, it has given us the, without the code, it has given us all the charts here. Okay, so if you want to get the code here, you can just get the code. Okay, I have actually asked it to, okay, I have just used that use Python MATLAB for visuals. So it has created the visuals only. So here you can see the first visual is churn rate by customer tenure. Okay, so here you can see for the growing customers, the churn rate is lower. For the new customers, the churn rate is almost zero. And for the mature customers, the churn rate is highest, means people who have been with us long time are leaving us. Okay, then the next is days since last interaction, churn versus active churn. Okay, so here you can see churned customers, we are not able to see them. Okay, active customers are generally from 400 or 450 days. Okay, then churn rate by revenue segment. So the customers who have left us or basically are from high revenue bucket. Okay, and that is a very bad for a business. If the low revenue bucket customers are leaving, then that's fine. Okay, you should not actually have a lot of business with them, but that's a very concerning thing. And then there's this heat map, means what are the features related to which. Okay, so here you can see last interaction, okay, is very much related to monthly revenue and customer churn flag. Okay, so tenure month, monthly revenue, and last interactions means we are actually losing our customers who are giving us the most revenue. Okay, and if there are a lot of months since last interaction, means they haven't bought us in like 3 months or 6 months, then there are high chances that they are going to leave us. Okay, so yeah, and here you can see tenure months and churn flag. So then support ticket is not a concerning factor here since last day interaction. So yeah, that's a concerning factor for us. Okay, now here we have also got what are the factors which should actually keep in mind, and what sales team should do, okay, to actually save those kind of customers. Okay, once that is done, you can get the list, and you can, based on these features, you can actually identify customers. Okay, if you are a very small list, top 10 customers, top 20 customers, you can just use Excel to do that. Or if you actually are doing a bigger problem, then you can use a machine learning model and to identify what are the customer IDs, okay, which can be churned. So you train a model, then you feed up the uh, new customers or the new list of customers where you want to check, and then you can get the results for using that previously trained model. Okay, so yeah, the sixth step is basically I'm not gonna use it. So if you want to, after doing all the analysis, uh, gaining the insights, if you want to present your insights to the team, to the business team, to the leadership team, or to all your higher ups stakeholders, then you can also use this kind of prompt to actually understand what are the things I need to focus during the meeting. Okay, okay, now the question comes that AI execution is easy, right? You have seen that if you have a data set and that problem could have taken months or like 3-4 days to do by your own, but if you can use AI properly, you can reduce your basically the manual task, write code a lot, okay, and try to decide what steps I need to follow. Okay, so you can reduce your time in half. Okay, a problem you can do in like 6 hours with the help of proper prompting and proper thinking. You can do it in 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so anyone can use AI. Few can judge AI outputs. Fundamentals create trust. Now the real question comes, can you actually trust all those results? Okay, so even if you get the results from an AI, okay, until unless you are not able to verify those, okay, so those results are not at all trustable. Okay, so right now we are in a rare phase. Okay, tools are accessible. AI lowered the entry barrier. Anyone can become a data scientist or data analyst. Okay, because now we have the abundant source of knowledge. Okay, and we have different tools. We have these kind of tools. They can create proper resumes. They can create proper projects. Okay, you just need to write the proper prompts. Okay, thinking is now the new differentiator. So when everyone is doing the same, what is still not changed is your logical thinking and problem solving. This skill will always be there in demand. Okay, so there would be a lot of opportunities in the data science, data analytics domain. Still there is a need of very good professionals. Okay, and that can only happen when your basics are strong. Okay, so AI users just ask prompts, and data professionals actually use uh, problem proper framing of the problems, validate logics, and then use those insights to drive the decisions. Okay, so what you can do always, start with the problems, learn the fundamentals. So what you can use for the fundamentals, you can use uh, courses, you can use the proper projects. Okay, or if your fundamentals are not at all right, okay, you can take up any course and register for them and just learn for 3 months, 6 months. Okay, clear your basics and then try to search for the jobs. Okay, focus on decisions and not on exactly tools. Okay, so for that you need to actually strong your basics. Okay, so if that made sense to you, you can go down, go deeper in data domain. You can use your structural thinking with the help of real use cases. Okay, and you can be actually a professional in the data domain. Okay, and thanks. That was it. I have taken some. So this webinar was organized by AI-Academy by GetWork. So if you guys want to learn more about them, you can check out on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to any other people here. For a fresher entering this hidden market, what specific behavior traits beyond technical Python or SQL separate a high performer from a generic applicant in your data team? Okay. You could have just asked directly. Uh, see, uh, that's what I was telling, that right now it's very easy to write all your skills in your resume. Okay, and people who are actually working in the industry, they can actually see through your resume that if you have mentioned 10 skills, 20 skills, it's not actually possible to be good at all the skills. Okay, what actually defines a good candidate, okay, compared to generic candidate, is what kind of problem solving skills they have. Okay, when you are actually interviewing a people, okay, what kind of problem solving skills they have and what is their way of thinking. Okay, and that only comes when you have worked on problems, on projects by yourself, have spent continuous hours on those. Okay, so yeah, that separates from a generic to a high performer. Since most of my academic projects were on clean, perfect data sets, how do you use AI here to handle the noise and inconsistencies of real world business data? So, see, if you actually want to work with uh, unclean data, real messy data, what you can do, there are different websites like data.gov or Indian government sites. You can just download that messy data and then work your way. Now if you're saying that how AI can handle, so AI can always give you the helper code. Okay, or it can explain you what steps you need to take. Okay, AI cannot exactly do all the heavy work. Okay, you AI can actually help you write the code. Okay, it's you who need to actually think and then take inspiration, see the blogs, okay, or understand the data at best. Okay, that's how you uh, handle the noise and inconsistencies. Okay. Okay, that's it. Anyone else? Okay, that's it, Kudrat, from my side.